overall, the idea with my character, with Jack, is that he eventually gets to the big leagues. So he eventually does get out of Duffy. I think that the first 2 seasons were supposed to be primarily in Duffy, and that we would have then expanded the universe after. Alas. I think that between David and I, there was just always an understanding to be ready. Be ready. Especially in the early days, we would have these really long days where, on a 50-page script, you might have a day where you shoot a page to a page and a half because it's a giant action sequence. And then we would have these Thursdays or Fridays typically where we would have to get through 12, 13, 14 pages, primarily of dialogue, primarily in the Arrow Cave, the Foundry. And we just learned early on that in order to actually physically get through these days and all of these scenes, that it was incumbent upon us to just be ready. And I think also, correct me if I'm wrong, not take ourselves too seriously. We talking about serious things. Something would have exploded. Someone was dead, or someone was close to death. So just don't let yourself get too serious and too bogged down. Let the dialogue do the work, and stay close to set and be ready.
Yeah, and when you're working 14 hours, the most asinine things become funny, Stephen Amell. Fart jokes. We'll leave it at that.
I was filming with Grant Gustin, played the Flash, and Melissa Benoist, and it was the first and I think only time that we left Vancouver. We actually traveled to Chicago to introduce Batgirl. And we were shooting a scene where, you see the bat symbol on a rooftop, and we're in Chicago, and we're wearing our superhero suits, and it was just like, this shouldn't be real life, but it is. And it always felt like that. It still feels like that. Someone came up to the table earlier and they said, what was the best part about the job? And I said, well, you see all the people that are here that are dressed in superhero suits? I said, yes. Well, I got to do that for work. And that was cool.
I think as an actor, you kind of, when a person comes to the scene, when they're prepared, you realize right away, I'm here with an actor. For Stephen, when I was directing him, I realized he wasn't just on his game, he was on everyone's game. Like he knew where my episode was different in that it jumped all over the place because of the Groundhog Days. But that wasn't it. But what was interesting is that just Stephen recognized where things worked, where other people were, what other people were doing. And that just trickles down, right? When the leader of the show gets it, sure, because everyone else gets it, or everyone else realizes, like as an actor, when you realize an actor in the game. So I think I just recognized that he was recognizing what everyone else was doing.
There was a sweet spot for a director to have on the show, because they are coming in, they are a guest. They're going to come in and they're going to leave, and we're still going to be there. So you do want them to see a little ground to the director of photography who knows how the show should look, and you do want them to see the little ground to the actors who are playing these characters, in some cases for the better part of a decade. You don't want them to see all the ground because they're the director. So, I want someone to come in with, this is just me personally, I want someone to come in with ideas, and if I don't do something that they want me to do, and they've got a good reason, I certainly want them to tell me. I don't want them to feel like they can't. So again, it's always just, it's a little bit of push, it's a little bit of pull, but we always had great directors. And I think also too, we have our executive producer, Mark Guggenheim, that was here, that was with us for all 8 seasons. And we're like, hey, so show did well. We're gonna get to use the Flash, so things are gonna change. What am I gonna say? No. No, you say yes, and you roll with it, and then you try to deal with the challenge as an actor to go from an episode of your show where you're dealing with a street level drug epidemic, in Star City. In the next episode, you're on a spaceship. And those are the problems that you want when you're creating a television show. That there are an abundance of balls in the air that you are juggling, and those are good problems.
All the love to Zach Gilford! So when it comes to kind of your own acting style, is that something that you're always aiming for in the roles that you pick? Something that's got great story and or great visuals?
I mean, you hope to have all of it, and I feel like I lucked out so much getting to do a bunch of Flanagan stuff. He's amazing. He's amazing to work with, but I think he has all that.
Right.
Visually, his stuff is just so cool and artistic, and I think why his movies, or his shows and movies work so well is because they're so based in character.
Right.
And if you guys have seen Midnight Mass,
right? No,
when I got the part, I didn't know anything about the show. I had one scene that's like me and Kate Siegel walking on a beach, and I just got out of prison. I'm like, okay, this guy's sad. And I get the part, and I'm reading the scripts, and I'm like, what the f? And I texted Michael, and I was like, they're vampires.
Yeah.
Or is that like is it a real angel? He's like, oh, Zach. And I was like, I don't know. But yeah, being a part of that was so cool. I learned so much from him, and then Midnight Club super fun. But then Fall the House of Usher, it's all based in really twisted characters.
Yes.
Jesse Plemons, who's still a close friend of mine.
Of course.
I swear, if you watch that show, if I'm in a scene with him, I'm barely in it because I can't keep a straight face. He's so, and he would say the randomest, weirdest stuff.
Right.
And I'd just be like, what? And like, no, seriously, I mean it. I bet she worships the devils in her backyard. I'm like, fuck, this is a football show. I got to work with Schwarzenegger once, which was such a dream come true. And it was his first movie back after being governor. And there's this part where I get shot, and I'm in the back of the car. And first of all, I jump in the back of the car, and then he turns around and goes, get down! I made it! And then we get to the other part of the scene 8 months later, and the car pulls up where we're going, and he comes around to pick me up and carry me out of it. And at first he's clutching me in his arms. He's like, oh, Bailey, Bailey, no. And my head's buried his chest. I'm and then he's supposed to carry me into the police station and lay me on the counter or something. And he's like, oh, I can't do it. I need my double to do it. And I was like, what? You're the Terminator. I don't get to get carried by the Terminator. You're double? Oh, man. But he's so nice, such a nice guy. Everyone was so nice on that show. And that was only season 17. And I'm in this interrogation scene with Ice-T and Christopher Maloney. And Ice-T was my first CD I ever owned. Wow. This is so cool. Ice-T. And he just would, between takes, he was like, yo, you play Grand Theft Auto? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, that's real, man. My favorite story was there's one time when we were doing Usher, where there was this poem that I would say to my wife in bed, and and I was working on lines, and I was like, I texted him, I was like, this doesn't flow well. Like, I feel like it should be this. And he goes, I usually am open to your ideas, but this isn't actual Poe poem.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're gonna stick with the text.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, totally. And then I like Googled it because I was like, oh, I should know the whole poem.
Right.
And then I was like, hey Mike, just so you know, you miswrote the poem.
Oh!
I didn't rewrite it correctly, but neither of us did. He was like, fair enough, we will do the actual text. So I always like, if someone comes up to me, if they ask me if I am such and such from the fade, I'm like, I don't lie, I'm like, yes I am. But if they're like, you look just like that guy from, I'm like, oh, do you ever get that? I do. Like, it's crazy, you look exactly like him. I'm like, oh, this has happened only in Chicago twice. If it goes on long enough, I'm like, it is, I am. And in Chicago twice, they're like, yeah, oh no, crazy, oh no, I just heard that, blah, blah, blah. Oh no, like, it's crazy. I'm like, it's actually me. You're a liar. Walk away. I was nervous, walking into a set where these people have been here for 15 years, and I'm the new guy. You're like Kirsten brought me cookies my first day. Pageant stayed after she had rapped one day just to introduce herself to me. Everyone was just like so. Apparently, they were huge Midnight Mass fans. So they'd all like had just come out, and they were like, "Oh my God, we loved it! We can't believe we have you here." I'm like, "That's awesome! I can't believe you'd be here." And I was nervous, and they were just so welcoming, and also the way the show started. I was so siloed for much of the first season. So when I was on set, it was like, well, none of us have been here before. I guess this is my show. And so by the time I started interacting with them, I got to know them. I felt much more comfortable. But everyone I know who's come on the show and done like a book or something is like, this is my favorite set I've ever been on. Like, it's special. It was my favorite scenes? Was that what's special?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh God. One of the scenes at the dinner table with my family, Henry Thomas, man. Oh my God, like I could not keep my shit together. Because he'd be like, there's a scene of I'm like, no, nope. And then, one person starts, they all start, and that was the only time Mike was like, can we please just keep it together? We've got a lot to shoot. We're like, sorry, and we get right to it. Nope. I don't know why it was so funny, but it like killed me. And Henry is like, I love Henry so much. He's a buddy of mine. And he's just such a crotchety, curmudgeonly like dude. But like, you're like, why? It's amazing. But he's just so funny and so nice and just like so weird. But it's just like, he's only like 10 years older than me. Yeah. But he's like in all this age makeup stuff and the other highlight, sorry, just what I thought of, there's a scene with me and Henry on the boat, and where he says something to me about being proud of me or not being ashamed of me or something, and after we did it, and it was like kind of a skeleton crew because we're on this boat, one of the cameramen goes, man, it's like the conversation we all wish we had with our dad. Wow. And like all the different guys on the boat are like, yeah, totally. And it was just such a cool moment to be like, yeah, like this felt real and honest and awkward and like, but at least like these characters got to have that moment.
No, that was like a bad dream. I was like, you thought you were going to get to put your plate down. Absolutely not. No.
That was in every movie where they're like, you're on. When? Now! Sorry, I'm so sorry. how many people are here? This is like,
We basically came to the rest of the show because everyone's here at this panel. They are super excited to see you guys.
Thank you for coming to this deposition. Whatever we didn't do it. Brandon and I panels are the best ones.
they really are. I love a yes-ander. Well, Richard Horvitz too. Yeah, but really, the best one was just us.
Yeah, definitely.
We make one and friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I like those suckers in Grand Rapids. Hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be besides Sir Pentious, I would love to be Katie Killjoy.
I would like to be Israeli.
It was like an inception. It was like Pentious answering the question.
Yeah.
I would like to be the little feminine robot boy. Who can't hear very well.
I think the show really feels like it takes form at these cons because that's when the cast is together. That's when it really feels like we're in a show together. And if I had to say what my favorite backstage moment is, we've had so many fun moments. Like the first 5 minutes before we go on stage is a really sacred. Like if you ever done theater, it's like we're jazzed together. Like, all of those moments are my favorite.
There's a lot of this.
Yes, there's a lot of this and this and that. But you know what? They robbed us of that here in Motor City.
There was that would have been great. Your hand reaching toward me and be like, "We're on." My favorite thing in the world is being at the recording sessions when I'm either early or we run a bit late because somebody else comes in. So it's fun to look in the engineering booth and all of a sudden there's Bryce Pinkham ready for another thing or James Eichelhart. And so it's fun to perform for your friends. Like that's a blast. And when Viv and Richard are in town, I'm in New York and they're not. And when they're in town, it's a ball because we get to just hang. And it's like, we all like each other except for here. We don't. Jimmy keeps saying that, see these things. It just, sometimes you look at a character like, I think he sounds like this. Right. And it evolves. I mean, I think if you really closely watch the seasons, you'll see it's like, it's not going to be the same all the way through because there's a maturity to it, there's a discovering. I've even seen, like in season 2, there's a bit of almost like a lowering of the voice a little bit, which I think is interesting. But I'm down with it. I think like as anybody changes, the voices don't need to be like, as long as they're consistent with what they are, it's fun to listen to them grow, mature, tire. Richard is the most annoying, most wonderful person when he does Sir Pentious in the studio. I have like 3-hour recording sessions that we get down to the wire, and I could have 2 lines. It would take us 3 hours, because every time I'm recording, I'll be like, Miss Mom, and he'll be like, yeah, Miss Mom, Miss Mom. I love him. When I was with my vocal coach that was through School of Rock into Beetlejuice, we discovered that I have a faculty, like anybody has, that has cartilage in your throat. In the same way you can flare your nostrils, raise your eyebrows, wiggle your ears. There's stuff in my throat that I can do the same thing. I can sort of wiggle cartilage in my throat.
What Alex is trying to say is that if there's anyone in front of you in one of our lines who has a dog, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because we're going to spend an hour with that thing. I have to agree, the dogs are the best. I get excited when I see.
Everyone be very quiet. What is the dog's name?
Thor.
Of course. Thor. We love you, Thor.
Yeah, the dogs, hands down. One time, someone brought their cat to a con, and she came to me at Erica's table, and she said, "You want a pet? You want to?" He's always great with people. I'm like, "But thank God." like blood, everything. I was like, "No, I'm good. Cut off the balls. I don't know, but maybe don't break into a con." Anyway,
It's dogs. It's always going to be dogs.
always dogs.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, also Katie Killjoy and Hazbin. During the interview with Charlie, I kept calling her Chargy, and they didn't use any of those takes. So I was kind of bummed. They kind of calling her Choggy or something at one point, but I call her Chargy. And I'm definitely going to be still calling her that if we have more scenes together. We all agree that seasons 1 and 2 are us setting up the bowling pins for what season 3 is.
It's heavy.
What's it?
Heavy.
It is heavy, yeah, but also just like that's not to say that it's like necessarily a bad heavy. There's a lot of just really deep stuff. And, you know, at this point, writing season 3, we're fans of the show. We know seasons 1 and 2, we know these characters front and back, and now it just feels like a really fun fan fiction that we can get paid to write.
Motor City, make some noise.
We love you!